come on now. It's really not that serious because us 80s, 90s, early 2000s babies did not have an issue by not having these in class. How are you good people doing, my American brothers and sisters? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ty Smith, and you're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man, which I'm greatly appreciative of. Follow me up here, follow me down here. Click this, it helps me. Thank you very much. And if and when you do subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification that will bring down the drop box for you to select all notifications. Last but not least, don't forget to check out my other YouTube channel called Man, Husband, Father. If you have a hype button on your channel right now, click it. Thank you. It helps hype me up. Yeah, I know. Anyway, folks, this subject should be kind of easy, but I can understand both parents' point of view in regards to cell phones being at school, because some states are starting to ban the cell phones from school. And in particularly, not necessarily like you can't bring the phone to school, but more or less like they're not going to be able to bring them into the classroom, right? Now, there's a whole lot of mixed feelings, mixed thoughts about this, but overall, if the goal of your child is to go to school to learn and to increase their knowledge, and if they're showing that cell phones are having an impact on it in the sense to where it's decreasing their knowledge, then I would say the cell phones definitely don't need to be in class, but they are being met with some mixed emotions though. Check it out.
Students in New York and Texas reacting to statewide school cell phone bans that take effect next week. Iowa and Tennessee are also starting with new school bans as well, cell phone bans as well. Parents are concerned about accessibility during emergencies, even though limiting cell phone use can improve students' skills in terms of academic performance and also classroom behavior. Let's bring in Raj Goyal, founder of Phone Free New York, who pushed for the phone ban in the Empire State. Raj, welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
So I'd like to show our audience what the Pew poll says in terms of the expected impact in terms of improvement of students with these cell phone bans. Positive, 67%, social skills, grades, 66% positive, behavior in class, 64%, physical safety, 37%. But bottom line in that Pew poll, people generally favor the idea of cell phone bans in school. What about all that?
Yeah, well, thanks for raising this issue. You know, we're very happy here in New York. We're very thankful to Governor Hochul and the legislature for passing the nation's largest, what we call bell-to-bell ban. So, you know, my personal story, I'm a dad of teenage daughters. So, you know, that's very important to me. And I'm also a technology CEO. You know, I've started a company, I sold it. So I love technology. I love the wonders and innovation that we can provide, but we need reasonable safeguards. The data and science is abundantly clear that particularly with teen girls, we have a mental health crisis in our country. We have record levels of suicidal ideation, of cyberbullying, of depression, and that's why this is such a popular issue. If you've been to a school lately, what do you see? Kids staring at their screens instead of looking around and being social, and then the lunchroom and so on. They're all staring at their screens, and teachers hate being phone cops. So that's why this law is, I think, very flexible and thoughtful, and we're very excited to implement it back to school.
To your point, I've noticed dealing with young people that they have a hard time looking you in the eye and having a conversation. They would be a lot more comfortable texting something to you. What about that?
Oh, gosh. You know, I asked my daughter the other day to call somebody on the phone. She looked like I had asked her to, like, you know, do something that was absolutely crazy, that, you know, who would ever like pick up a phone and, you know, talk to somebody. And so, you know, that we all know it anecdotally, and we know that these devices, look, I'll be the first to admit I'm addicted to my phone. I suspect you look at your phone a lot, but yet we're not kids. Our cerebral cortexes are fully formed. They may not be as functional as we want them to be, but we know that kids are still learning. And, you know, you have that physical safety point. I want to speak to that. One of the concerns I had when I got into this work a year ago before I started the organization was, what about that emergency? You know, I live in New York City. My older daughter goes to a public school on the Upper East Side. You know, things happen. And what was so persuasive to me, Mike, is that the NYPD, law enforcement, the first responders, school shooting specialists, they all favor the ban because they know that our children need to follow the adults, the emergency protocols, get to safety, then get in touch with their loved ones.
All right, I'd like to put on the screen the perspective of a mom and teacher that was in Long Island Newsday today, Long Island teacher and parent Jennifer DeRosa, teacher from Dix Hills, who has a 15-year-old son going into 10th grade, worries how she will reach him during an emergency. Quote, "I'm very much against it," DeRosa said of the policy. "I like to be in contact with him if he needs something, just from something small to obviously a major thing going on. I just feel more comfortable knowing that he could reach me if he needed something and vice versa." What about that perspective? Do parents need to be weaned off the phones in terms of accessibility with our children during the day?
Well, look, we all parent in our own ways, but I will say this, it will be okay. You know, I like to say that I haven't had caffeine in 20 years, if you can believe that. When I withdrew from caffeine for the first week, you know, you kind of feel a little jittery. So what happens in school after school that is actually withdrawn, that has gone distraction free? It's a little bumpy for the first couple of weeks. And then they realize that this is the new normal. And so, sure, I love to be in touch with my girls during the day, but I also trust the school. When I was a kid and something happened at school, the school got in touch with my parents. And one of the things in this law that I'm very proud of is that you have to have the emergency network of each school tested. My daughter's two schools, they test that emergency network every month. We get a text message, we get a phone call. So we know and we trust that school that if something happens, you know, they'll be in touch and they'll handle it. We trust the schools with our kids' lives every day. When they're in chemistry class using Bunsen burners, when they're doing athletics. And so we need to trust our schools to actually take care of our kids. And this is a case where I think all of the science is clear. And we know in our guts and our hearts that we got to get off these phones. And particularly so that kids can be kids, they can have greater socialization outcomes and better educational outcomes.
Raj Goyal, thanks very much for your time and your perspective today.
Now, when it all comes down to it, it's going to be parenting. This man said he asked his daughter to make a phone call and da-da-da-da-da. Now, that's a shame. I mean, if you get to a point to where you don't even know how to socialize, something is more than just, God, it's more than just the phones being in the classroom. When it affects the fact that you can't even socialize, talk. I'm just saying, I know it might be a little outdated, but I remember the days of being in high school where we sat around and we hung and we talked. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got Miss Sutton. Oh, I got Miss Lacey, too. Hey, she crazy. Oh, hey, Miss Donham. Though, hey, she's so cool in art, man. Da-da-da-da-da. You go to a high school now, like even when I go there to go talk to some of my mentees, sometimes I go through the hallway. I don't even hear. You remember the days of being able to hear talking when you go through a hallway? Just crowd noise? You don't even really hear that hardly. You might hear random. Or you see this a lot. It's weird. I'm just used to being in the way that I came up, where you go through school and you see all kinds of people talking. Oh, the thing going, guy got his hand around his boy. Hey man, the jocks with the jackets on, but man, even the jocks and everybody get they all walking through the hallway. So yeah, hey, good game last night. Hey, appreciate it. It's wild. Them to have that emergency system, I get it. I completely understand that. Now the question going to be is this. I do understand to a point to where it's making teachers be accountable, because some teachers did a lot of stuff that's out of pocket. And had the kids not had the cell phones, we wouldn't have known it. So I can get it. Only thing that can change is unless they have cameras in the classroom that can make the teachers be accountable. But guys, this is one of those ones where if it was my child most likely would not have a cell phone. I know y'all say, but what about the camera? I will let them know the special thing that my son brings. Only thing he can do. I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think? It's just, I mean, they're going to bring him, sneak him in anyway. Y'all do know that, right? You're going to have where they're going to give you a decoy phone they're going to put up and they're going to have their real phone on them should some stuff go down. So I don't know, folks. I'm just kind of in the middle on this one. What about y'all? Let me know in the comment section after this video. And don't forget to do what y'all see in these elements right here. That will greatly help the channel. The next video after this one, up there, things as of yesterday, right here. If you have not subscribed, click right up there. I am Ty Smith, Model Renaissance Man, hoping and praying every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, praying every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.